The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get
He
very
missed
close.
the complete that. He's crazy
Side by
stuff.
side, Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through, he tags Richard Eck.
Friction is heat. You know, you take an engine where the lifter goes up and down, pushes the valve up and down, it really gets hot right there. That's where oil breaks down and where we have failures. AMSOIL, on the other hand, it's a true synthetic lubricant. It's just idling right there. It doesn't even know it's being used. In other words, 300 degrees is whole hum to AMSOIL.
Hello and welcome to Gateway Motorsports Park for round 10 of the 2015 ASRS AMSOIL Truck Series here, live on the Global Sim Racing channel. Good evening, I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me is Ayrton Ellis. Behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak, and our cameras are brought to you by Dougie Beard. Last week we were at Rockingham Speedway where points leader Dan Murray took a win and was able to extend his points lead, but not without some controversy after race leader Ty Hester was involved in an incident with a lap truck under caution. Ayrton, this week we're back racing at a slightly longer track, but this is still a place where something just as unpredictable isn't out of the question.
Yeah, exactly, Sam. Today we're here at Gateway Motorsports Park, and it's slightly different than the tracks that we're normally used to. It's actually an egg-shaped track, which means that turns 1 and 2 and turns 3 and 4 are actually quite a bit different. I didn't mention, but it's a 1.25 mile long track, a little shorter than we are used to, a little longer than where we were last week. But as I said, turns 1 and 2, it's 11 degrees spanking, where turns 3 and 4 are 9 degrees, and turns 3 and 4 are a little bit longer as well. So it should make it a little interesting. It's a little similar to Darlington in that sense. These guys are also limited to 75% fuel in the trucks, which means that they will have to do about one stop throughout the race. If they have a lot of cautions, they might be able to make it on no stops, but those tires are really valuable for these guys. They're also driving in a fixed setup just to make the racing a little bit closer for these guys as well.
A fixed setup, especially considering this is an egg-shaped oval, is really going to throw these drivers a bit of a curveball today, which could be a problem for some of our points contenders. And we will take a look at the points right now. As we mentioned, Dan Murray was able to extend his points lead over Ricky Hardin, James Kahula and Tommy Ryan, you see right there. Tommy Ryan had a bit of a bad week last week because he was involved in that incident with the lap truck. But also, he's going to lose a few more points this week, Ayrton, because he is currently on vacation, enjoying himself somewhere. And why not? He is safely in the chase after 5th place Gary Whitson right there, Alex Bates, Jesse Fowler, Tim Johnston, Jim Foose and Michael Kobach, who round out the top 10 in points, are a bit further back. But we still have a couple of names on the outside looking in, Ayrton, such as last season's champion, Bryce Whitson.
Yeah, there's quite a few guys, and they're going to have to try to work pretty hard to be able to get into that top 10 for the chase before the end of the season. There's a few more races left for these guys to do it, so they have time, but definitely some top 5s or even a few top 10s will definitely help those guys just outside of the top 10 to get in.
Now, 32 trucks will be allowed to start this race. I don't think we actually have that many in attendance. Gateway isn't exactly... I mean, we can't speak for its popularity, but not a lot of people have credentials or access to Gateway Motor Speedway on the iRacing service, so we might see a bit of a reduced field tonight, including the absence of Tommy Ryan, who's on vacation, and also Steve Buhalo has been suspended for until the 17th of June, and a couple other technicalities there, so he might... And qualifying is just finishing, so Ayrton, I'll let you run down the grid order.
Well, starting on pole, he was contender last race. Ty Hester led the most laps last race. He's starting on pole alongside him. The winner of last race, Dan Murray, having a better qualifying than previously this season. Then Jeffrey Belt will be starting in 3rd place. In the 2nd row, alongside him is James Kruhala. In 5th place is Jared Haggerty. Alongside him, Bryce Whitson, a better qualifying for him. Justin Fuller, a little farther down on the 4th or 3rd row in 7th place. And then in 8th place is Alan Young, and then Jamie Moore in 9th, and Jeffrey Gilliam in 10th.
Lined up in 11th place right there, we have Todd Garron. That's a relatively new name. Lined up alongside him on the 6th row is Michael Kobach. Then we go to row number 7, where 13th on the grid isn't appearing on my screen right now. There he is. It is Christopher Ginn lined up alongside him. Ricky Harding, who was telling us that he's downshifting in turns 1 and 2 here, so let's see if that makes a difference tonight. Mark Allen is lined up in 15th alongside Brandon Jones in 16th, Austin Missler in 17th, and Jesse Fowler in 18th place, Ayrton.
And in 19th place is Nick Cohan. In 20th is Tanner Sharp. Jason Swan in 21st. Kevin Berry in 22nd. Alex Bates in 23rd. Stephen Petit in 24th. Michael Koenig in 25th. And 26th is Tim Knott. And Jim Foos, our league organizer, in 27th. We have 3 drivers who did not qualify. Don't know if they're going to be starting the race, but those drivers are Stefan Marks, Jason Kristen, and Carson Abe.
Now, Stephen Marks is one of the drivers who has been given an EOL penalty for this race because of not having the AMSOIL sponsorship or a black stripe on the top of his windshield. Other drivers, I confess that I don't have their names right in front of me right now, also are falling to the same penalty, so do not be surprised if you see a couple of trucks drop to the back on this pace lap. As a matter of fact, and I see one truck popping up in pit road right there. Pace car rolling away.
Yeah, the other drivers, EOLs for windshield violations are Sean Music and Kevin Berry. There's also Jared Haggerty, who has an EOL for wrecking under yellow last race. Benny Ellison, who has an EOL for going on the apron before the start-finish line last race, and then Justin Fuller. He actually got a 10-point penalty due to this being his 3rd penalty last race. He's been in quite a few incidents, and he's going to get an EOL this race for passing on pit road last race.
Well, one driver who does not have an EOL is our pole sitter, Ty Hester. Lined up alongside him is our points leader, Dan Murray. Now, I'm not sure, did you get word on if they're doing 2 pace laps here or just this one?
I'm not sure, to be completely honest.
Well, we'll wait and see if the Ford Mustang pace car ducks down the pit road at the end of this lap. Lights are off, but usually they remain off at the start of this race. There you're getting a nice look at Ty Hester's Jimmy John's truck right there, with Dan Murray in the light blue and white truck lined up on the outside there. And we are getting ready as I come out of turn 4 here. This track is more than a mile now. There, sure enough, a pace car ducks down pit road. Ty Hester has control of the field. Can he dominate like he did at Rockingham last week? He gets off to a good start, Ayrton, and we are racing here at Gateway.
Yeah, Jeffrey Bell got a great start as well. He's already on the inside of Dan Murray. We heard before the race that the side-by-side action is really tough. It's tough to pass on the inside, but looks like Jeffrey Bell might be able to get at Dan Murray. He's still on the outside, being able to run that high side. These guys are still side-by-side. The rest of the pack looks pretty clean so far.
It does. Here they come down the back stretch. They're finding out at the back there's a green truck all the way down on the bottom line, but at the front they're single file, at least through about the top 10 right now. They come around to complete lap 1 of 80 with Ty Hester leading the way.
It looks like Dan Murray manages to get that position. Jeffrey Belt now having to fend off James Gruhala in 4th place. And as you said before, some of these guys have different lines actually going into these corners. Some of them can shift down to 3rd gear while others stay in 4th. So it's actually interesting to see how some of these guys might be able to run out of the corners with those different gear ratios.
Let's ride on board James Quahula here in 4th place. See what he does through the turn. James Quahula, by the way, is the sitting 3rd in the points, is currently leading the Rookie of the Year stand-ins. Dan Murray and Ricky Harding, the only 2 drivers ahead of him in the points right now. Very clean opening few laps, certain, but that's up front. How's it looking through the middle of the field?
Yeah, it still looks very clean. It looks like most side-by-side action has already went down to single file. I'm actually looking at Alex Bates, who's actually quite slow on the track, getting passed by a few cars. He actually has some damage on the rear of his car, might have got involved in an incident early on.
It's a possibility. I mean, at the end of the first lap coming out of turn 2, we saw trucks low, trucks high. Wasn't sure if there were any trucks that got in the wall. Meanwhile, take a look at, is that the number 2 truck there? Jim Foos, that black truck, because I recall, I believe he started in 27th. He is already up into 20th, currently sitting 9th in the points, so he's not far out of not being in chase contention. Granted, we still have a few more rounds before the chase begins, but Jim will want a solid night tonight and weeks going forward if he wants to solidify a position in the chase, certain.
Yeah, he finished, I think, 8th place last race, which was a great finish for him, his first top 10 of the season, and that consistency that he's had so far is starting to really come into effect in this latter half of the season. Right behind him, though, there is a battle going on. Stefan Marks, who had that EOL penalty, is trying to get by Alex Bates, managed to get the job done. So Stefan Marks now into 21st place.
Absolutely, so let's give you a little rundown right here. The top 5 right now: Ty Hester leading Dan Murray, Jeffrey Belt, James Kahula and Bryce Whitson running up there in 5th place. And that is significant, Ayrton, because he has been having a horrible season so far.
Yeah, I actually just looked at Michael Krobach. He was in 7th place, spun coming out of turn 2 and skimmed the inside wall. He went across the grass. Not too much damage, but he definitely dropped a lot of places.
We're going to get a replay of that. There it is, coming up here. We're watching Michael Krobach in the number 7 truck. He's on the inside line there of the number 54 truck. That is... we'll find out in just a minute here for you. Michael Krobach. Apparently that wasn't the turn where it happened. Number 54 is Todd Garron. He currently runs in 7th place. Let's see what happens in turn 1 and 2 here. Was there contact between them? There's a caution on the speedway now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I think the reason for the caution, Stephen Petit got spun around in turns 3 and 4. He managed to save it, but I think that caused the caution. He didn't spin or anything.
Well, we had 30 trucks start this race. We're down to 29. Carson Orbay has retired from the race. Here we get a replay on Stephen Petit, the number... is that the number 88 machine? And we'll see what happens in turns 3 and 4 up here. May have been a little contact, as you mentioned. Yep, there definitely was contact. The number 57 of Jared Haggerty, who was actually had to start from the back of the field because of contact with Ricky Hardin under caution at Rockingham. Meanwhile, talking about the field, they're all coming into the pits for tyres and fuel.
Yeah, 3 drivers stay out. That's James Grohala, who was actually sitting in the front of the pack in 4th place, I believe it was. And then Bryce Whitson and Jeffrey Gilliam, they all decide to stay out. So they're going to be leading the pack after, at this restart.
Ty Hester leading the field into the pits. We'll wait and see if they take 2 or 4 tyres. Now, talking about the trucks that were involved in incidents, there are no free repairs in the American Sim Racing Series, so they may very well have to sit in the pits for a little bit to get repairs. Just 2 tyres for Ty Hester. He leads the race off of pit road. Dan Murray taking 4, though. He's going to lose a lot of spots to Todd Garron, Ricky Hardin. Dan Murray is 4th off of pit road.
Yeah, Dan Murray and Jeffrey Belt both decide to take 4 tires. Those will help on the long run, but as Ricky Hardin actually said to us before the race, he's actually expecting quite a few cautions. So that play, especially from Ricky Hardin, that strategic call might help him quite a bit.
Well, we might have quite a few cautions. They were able to get a decent amount of laps in early on here. The pace car lights are... let's have a look.
They're on?
Yep, they're still on because it's working their way through turns 3 and 4 right now. Let's see if they go off this lap. Right now, the first truck behind them is James Kahula, Bryce Whitson, Jeffrey Gilliam, and Tanner Sharp all stayed out. So, our leader, the first off of pit road, the one who was leading the race, Ty Hester, will restart 5th, and the pace car lights go off. So we will be restarting in a lap here.
And James Grahula decides to opt for the outside line on this restart. So starting in first place, decides that the outside will be better for getting into that turn 1 for him.
Well, providing he doesn't botch the restart, he has the right to cross the start-finish line in first place. Theoretically, Bryce Whitson should not beat him to the line. We'll wait and see how that works out. Bryce Whitson, as we say, having the top 5 run after having not such a great season in the early half. He is currently sitting 15th in the points. He is only 17 points out of Michael Krobach in 10th, though. So it really is tight there on the edge of whether these drivers are going to get in the chase or not.
Yeah, and he's looked much better in this second half, in these past few races, actually, and looking great so far this race. So I'm looking to keep an eye out for him sitting in second here.
Here comes the Mustang pace car. It takes a hard left turn. James Kahula has control of the field over Bryce Whitson on his inside lane and gets a great restart. Bryce Whitson and Jeffrey Gilliam gets a horrible restart there, restarting 3rd. That will give Tanner Sharp the opportunity to battle Bryce Whitson for 2nd place into the turn. Now Tanner Sharp's aerodynamics might be askew a little bit because he has damage on that right front fender. Caution!
Gonna try to see where that was.
Brandon Jones, perhaps? The number 32 GoPro truck?
No, it was Michael Krobach. He got spun around. He had contact with Alex Bates going into 1 and spun through 1 and 2.
I'm going to try and find a replay on that. Here we go, we're watching Michael Krobach once again, who unfortunately has made the highlight reel a couple of times today, but if you're going to get involved in incidents, do it early on so you can... Oh, and he just came down, he didn't realise that truck was below him, or maybe he thought he would have him clear going into the turn. I'll tell you what, Ayrton, the iRacing sim is being very... as soon as the truck gets half sideways, it's throwing the caution flag out right away. Some tracks we go to, you basically have to be stopped in the racing line before the caution will fly.
Yeah, both cautions have come out just from cars just spinning and not even hitting anything. Even Michael Krobach, he spun and then went off the track, under the track, and which would have been out of the way of any racing, and still the caution came out before, I forget who it was, Jared Haggerty, I think it was, spun, and he managed to save it too, and still the caution came out. So definitely you're right, it seems pretty sensitive tonight.
Well, the pace car lights should stay on, and none of the leaders are coming into the pits. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here at the Gateway Motorsports Park.
Friction is heat. You know, you take an engine where the lifter goes up and down, pushes the valve up and down, it really gets hot right there. That's where oil breaks down and where we have failures. AMSOIL, on the other hand, it's a true synthetic lubricant. It's just idling right there. It doesn't even know it's being used. In other words, 300 degrees is whole hum to AMSOIL.
Hello and welcome back to Gateway Motorsports Park, where the pace car lights have just gone off. We are currently working lap 13 of 80 here, and once again Ames Kahula has gone to the high side for this restart, and why not? And it seemed to work for him pretty well last time out.
Yeah, and side-by-side action is very prominent on this track, and actually passed on the inside, as I said earlier, can be quite a challenge. So high side's definitely a good option for James Kahula, and that also makes it difficult for the guys in the back of the pack to actually get a run, especially on the inside. Normally you'll see the third place guy maybe getting a run on second, but that doesn't happen when the first place chooses the high side.
Jason Swan was just in the pits. He doesn't look too badly damaged, so I don't know if he just wanted to get to the back of the field and get out of the mess. These drivers seem to be anticipating a lot of cautions tonight. We've had 2 so far. James Kahula about to have control of the field on the high side there. Bryce Whitson lined up alongside him, and Jeffrey Gilliam behind him. Jeffrey didn't get a good restart last time. He gets a better one this time, but he is still going to lose out on the race on second place to Bryce Whitson into turn 1, or is he? Will the momentum from that high side help him? No, it won't. Bryce Whitson pulls away in second place. The battle is on for third.
Oh, they got really close. Ty Hester had a good run. Looks like Ricky Harden is right on the rear of him. He got a great run out of turn 2, actually pushing Ty Hester a little bit as it headed into 4. But some of these guys, the old tires are starting to wear in now, and the fresh tires on these guys, Ty Hester and Ricky Harden, are looking really good so far.
I can see why these drivers think there's going to be a caution. There's 3 wide all throughout the pack. Right inside the top 10 there was some involved. Tanner Sharp has been fallen back. He restarted on the second row. He has now fallen down to 7th, being passed on the high side by Todd Garron. Oh, and into the wall behind them was Jamie Moore and the number 10 truck. And there's a 3-wide situation there breaking out now. Jamie continues, but here on the outside comes Justin Fulland. Jamie Moore gets sideways. Here comes the pack. Oh! That's the 17 and Mark Allen.
Only 2 cars had contact there. Looks like actually Mark Allen got his motor blown from that hit.
And there was a second wreck going on behind that at the same time, probably as the drivers were all checking up for the wreck in front of them. Stephen Petit ended up getting turned around. But as you say, Mark Allen is a big lose out of that.
Ah, such a shame. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah, it all started with Jamie Moore getting in the turn 2 wall on the exit of a corner there. They went 3 wide, and then Jamie Moore gets turned sideways, does a brilliant drift, but then overcorrects or slides through the... Oh no, I'm sorry, Jamie Moore actually... He was able to get out of it. It was behind him that the action broke out. Mark Allen, that's right. Mark Allen was the one who got the blown motor. Here we ride on board Mark Allen. Let's ride and listen, and unfortunately this doesn't end well. Oh, that's why we didn't see Jamie Moore. Oh, Jim Foose got involved, got a piece of that too.
Yeah, you mentioned the caution, the iRacing being pretty sensitive, but it looks like these trucks are very sensitive entering the corners. That was the slightest contact between Jamie Moore and Jeffrey Bell, and that got Jamie Moore sideways.
Yeah, Jim Foose took a pretty good lick on the left side there from where Mark Allen came up.
So Justin Fuller, who was on the outside of that 3-wide action, he's doing his usual run from the back. I think this is the 3rd race in a row that he's had an EOL and had to work up from the pack. He's already in 8th place, which is much better progress than he had in the previous races. So looking good, but definitely some aggressive driving with that 3-wide action.
So once again, James Kahula will have control of the field at the restart, but Bryce Whitson has been doing an excellent job at maintaining that second position on these 2 restarts. We've seen some tracks, Tim, where the driver who restarts second can't get a good restart and loses his second position to the guy who restarts third, can watch the lead as he gets on the loud pedal and beats the guy in second into the first corner. That's not happening to Bryce tonight. He's doing a good job at restarting second and getting into the first turn in second.
Yeah, and having that inside line definitely helps as well, because it's much easier to defend a position from the inside than it is to defend it on the outside for sure. But he now has Ty Hester and Ricky Harding, who both have fresh tires from that recent pit stop, whereas Whitson and Kruhala both have those old tires that they've been running on in all 18 laps of this race so far.
We have a few trucks in the pits. Brandon Jones, whose truck doesn't look too badly damaged. Stephen Petit, who was caught in the wreck that was going on behind this. He just took... Well, he's flying, trying to catch back up with the field, as is Tim Knott, Jamie Moore, all these drivers who have had a bit of a rough day. Mark Allen might still get back in the fight, but he'll be multiple laps down by the time he gets back on track. And I think Kevin Berry has also lost a lap, and Kevin Berry was one of the 3 drivers who had to take an EOL for a windshield issue. Anyhow, we're about to get restarted here. Once again, James Kahula on the high side. Can he and Bryce both get the good restarts that they have on the last 2 times around?
Actually, I think they just delayed the yellow for a little bit.
They have, yep. Now, that usually happens when there's an accident, as the drivers are getting ready to take the green, and there was an accident. There was a spinner on the backstretch, not entirely sure why. It was Jamie Moore, I believe. I'm trying to watch a replay here just to get confirmation on that. Yeah, Jamie Moore basically slammed on the brakes to avoid hitting Stephen Petit, and that spun his truck around. Anyway, we're getting ready to do the actual restart now. Is that the pace car coming out of turn 4? No, it's coming out of turn 2, so we do have a little bit of time. But fortunately, Jamie Moore didn't hit anything, and it looks like... And here you go, you'll see the aerial here. He just spun. And actually, that's... oh, no, there he is, right there. Oh, maybe he did get a piece of a wall.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
he skimmed it a little.
Field's about to restart. James Kahula as we said, we'll have control. Bryce Whitson is up there too, as is Ricky Hardin and Ty Hester. Several big names at the front of the field this time by that I don't think were up there on the last restart. So we'll see if we get a decent sized green flag run here. Who will come out on top? Ford Mustang pace car down into the pits. James Krahula has control of the field. Lap 19, we're about to go back to green flag racing. James waiting a very long time, but finally gets a good restart. Ricky Hardin challenging Bryce Whitson into the first corner.
Ricky Hardin had such a good jump at the start, but I don't know if he's going to be able to manage to hold it on the outside. But looks like he is, actually. He got a great run through that corner. Ty Hester also looking really fast behind him, but Ricky Hardin already clears Bryce Whitson before the end of that corner. Ty Hester now under attack from, that's Todd Guerin right now.
Todd Guerin, not a name we're always familiar with calling, but he's doing a very nice job up there. Almost gets into Ty Hester, as I say that, in the battle for fourth. Here goes Ty Hester underneath Bryce Whitson for third, but he doesn't get the run that he needed.
And Justin Fuller, he's already up to sixth place, right on the rear of this front pack, that is. And still, Todd Guerin looking on the outside. Ty Hester gets a little loose coming out of turn two there.
But what about Jared Haggerty? He's gone dirt tracking on the infield. I don't think that'll bring out a caution, but there was lots of bumping and banning going on. The number 57 truck of Jared Haggerty. There was a lot of bumping and banning going on through turns 1 and 2, and unfortunately Jared came off the worst of it. Meanwhile, battle up front has kind of got a little bit strung out now. As I say that, Ricky Hardin gained a lot on the braking there in turns 1 on James Krahula, but loses it on exit as you see the replay of Jared Haggerty going off and given some rallycross skills there. Showing off his rallycross skills there.
Justin Fuller trying to make a move on Ty Hester. He got by Todd Guerin the previous lap. Now on the inside, side by side with Ty Hester. Looks like he got a better run. Ty Hester actually into the wall. He's going to check up Todd Guerin behind him. It looks like Dan Murray's actually going to go by both of those in those two corners. Still on the inside as they're going side by side into turn 2. Ty Hester looking to be struggling a little bit as compared to earlier on in this race.
Ricky Hardin, meanwhile, in front of him, keeps running right onto the rear spoiler of James Krahula's Chevy Silverado on the entry, but then loses it on exit because his apex in the turn's way too fast, and I think that he might risk burning off his tyres quicker than Krahula if he continues to do that, and I'm wondering if that will also give Bryce a chance to challenge for second. He's certainly within striking range.
Battle behind them still going on. Dan Murray still side by side with Ty Hester. Todd Guerin is just watching this one as they're still side by side.
Ricky almost lost it off of turn 2 there, and he's going to lose that position to Bryce Whitson as a consequence. He's now battling for third with Justin Fuller. Justin Fuller almost up to third after starting at the back. And the reason Fuller had to start at the back, he actually got a 10-point penalty after the last round for passing cars in the pits. Apparently he's been warned about that a couple of times.
Going on the inside, he tried to make a switch over coming out of 4. Oh, he actually makes a mistake and misses his apex and had to slow down a little bit. Looks like Ricky Hardin actually ahead of him is going to get a run on Bryce Whitson. Those fresh tires are coming back into effect. I'm actually surprised that Ricky Hardin's been making so many mistakes since his tires are a good 10 laps newer than the rest of these guys. Or at least his right side tires. He only took right side.
Yeah, Ricky Hardin's had a couple of difficult races. We know he definitely didn't have a great race a couple of weeks ago at Dover. He seemed to do all right last week at Rockingham, though. I believe he was one of those drivers that got... Oh, as he gets loose on the bottom side there. There goes Fuller around the outside. Nice move.
Ugh, a hair between those two trucks.
We've got to be coming on to one of the longest green flag runs of the day right now, and one driver who's been involved in a couple of the incidents is Michael Krobach. He just took 9th place away from Jeffrey Gilliam. He's having a nice comeback here. Yeah,
great recovery drive. Meanwhile, James Krahula, he's managed to get about a second gap ahead of Bryce Whitson, so definitely running pretty well, especially since the tires are about 27 laps old now.
Yeah, no, James Krahula doing a nice job. He's keeping it steady, unlike these two drivers who are battling each other for second right now. Mind you, Justin Fuller's coming. What kind of lap times has Fuller been running? Last lap around, I want to try and get a comparison. He's obviously going to lose a bit of time this time around battling Bryce, but I have a feeling he'll complete there in turns 1 and 2. No.
Oh. That was close. Oh, he's going to be able to get a better run out of the corner. Yeah, in fact, he does. Oh, actually, not as big of a run as it looked like going through the corner.
Yeah, Justin Fuller's fastest lap has been 34.3 as opposed to Krahula, who has done 34.2, but then Krahula's had clean traffic. Fuller has yet to have that. However, the pace he's shown right now as he gets a run off of Bryce Whitson coming out of turn 4, he could certainly be in challenger for that fastest lap, but can he make it stick? He's getting aero loose. Bryce Whitson's truck keeps taking the air away from him. However, Fuller drove it in like a lamb and tries to come out like a lion, but it doesn't. And there's a spin in the background.
Oh, that's Ty Hester. Our pole sitter spins it out of 2. All on his own, no contact.
Once again, Ty Hester has a great race going and it just comes unfolded.
Michael Krobach spun as well right behind him for the second time this race.
I'm wondering if that was as a reaction. Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah. The 98 car got loose ahead of him, Jesse Fowler, and he had to try to avoid it and ended up spinning.
Oh, and then got into Hester.
Yeah, hit the wall too as well.
Well, fortunately, those two should be able to get back in the race. One driver who won't is Kevin Berry. You're not entirely sure what happened to him, but he has retired from the race. Field coming into the pits. Meanwhile, a bit of a development. Nick Cohan, who was running in the top 20, has been disqualified.
I'm trying to find out why.
Well, we just saw the onboard of Michael Krobach there, and you saw 2 separate incidents, and unfortunately they just came together. I guess sometimes that happens. Law of very large numbers. Some people win the lottery twice, and sometimes you wreck in the same turn and run into each other. James Krahula leading the field into the pits. Will he lead the field out of the pits? I can't imagine anyone would do anything other than 4 tyres, because it has been our longest green flag run. Personally, I've never drove a truck around here, but it seems that tyres are something of a concern. But who's this coming out of the pits ahead of Krahula? It's not. That's Ty Hester coming into the pits with these.
Oh, Bryce Whitson got it. Yeah, Bryce Whitson might be able to beat him out there side by side. I think Krahula just got that.
It would appear so, because Bryce gave it up to Krahula.
Yeah, Justin Fuller right behind these guys as well. They all took 4 tires, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm keeping an eye on Jesse Fowler. We really haven't mentioned him tonight in the Pepco truck, number 98 there. He came off of pit road in 6th place, and he currently sits 7th in the points. So Jesse Fowler's been flying under the radar a lot, but he's certainly doing what he needs to be doing there, getting the trace and probably get a couple of wins before the season is out. Right now he has had 9 starts this season and only 1 top 10, yet he sits 7th in the points, just based on consistency, I guess.
Yeah, and he's sitting in the top 10 once again. Might even be able to sneak into the top 5 as well. He actually was the driver who got loose ahead of Krobach, and I wouldn't say it was his fault, but Krobach had to react in order not to hit him coming out of turn 2. But yeah, Jesse Fowler looking pretty fast. He's behind Dan Marie at the moment.
And then there were 26. Jared Haggerty has retired from the race. I'm guessing due to incident damage. I know he's been involved in a couple of skirmishes today. Pace car lights are still on, but they should be coming off this time around. So let's give you a rundown of the top 10. It is James Krahula, Bryce Whitson, Justin Fuller, Ricky Hardin, Dan Murray, Jesse Fowler, Todd Garron, Jeffrey Gilliam, Stephen Marks and Tanner Sharp. And one driver surprised me a little bit tonight, Erton. It's not unusual to see him up there, but I don't know if he always has the results to show for it, and that is Jeffrey Gilliam in the number 61 truck.
Yeah, yeah, I think he was up there in the top 10, I think, last race at Rockingham for a short while. But yeah, throughout this race. I mean, he qualified in 10th, and he's been in the top 10 consistently throughout the race, looking really fast. He's not in the top 15 in standings, but so far this race, he's looking pretty good.
Pace car comes across the start-finish line, and indeed the lights do go off. Jeffrey Gilliam is a member of Whitson Motorsports. There's several teams that run out here, some as big as 10 strong. That would be Steel Horse Racing. Whitson Motorsports, as you can imagine, has the two Whitsons in it, of Gary and Bryce. Jeffrey Gilliam is also in it, as are Tim Johnston, Michael Krobach, who has been in the spotlight tonight a couple of times for not so great reasons, but he's still running out there. And Daniel Glover is also a member of that team. We haven't mentioned Gary Whitson a whole lot tonight, and that's just because I just realised I don't think he's actually in this race. So,
No.
that's surprising. Usually he's a regular contender. Not entirely sure what the story is there.
Yeah, a race winner in this series as well this season, but as you said, not here tonight. We might have a new race winner here, because only two previous race winners are actually running this race. That's Dan Murray and Justin Fuller, but looks like green flag.
Yep, pace car has gone off. James Krahula will lead them to the restart once again. The rookie looking for his first ever win in the ASRS. Bryce Whitson looking for his first win of the season. And here is a driver who has a couple of wins to his name, or actually just one, I believe. And that is... No, he doesn't have a win this season. Wow, that's surprising. Ricky Harding currently running in second.
Yeah, Justin Fuller already looking aggressive. He's already peeking to the inside of Bryce Whitson on the backstretch. He's going to get the inside as it goes side by side into turn 3. Got a really good run into the corner. Might actually clear him before the end of it. Bryce Whitson almost has contact, but can't quite get it. Justin Fuller's going to slot into third.
Yeah, Justin Fuller, as you say, takes place away as the field completes a lap 34 right there. They currently go on to lap 35. Here comes Dan Murray. He was trying to power it around the outside of Bryce Whitson. That wasn't going to happen, though.
Oh, Fuller got a really good run. He's already on the inside of Ricky Harding for second.
Yeah, though, Christopher Ging got a piece of a wall coming off of turn 2, but we continue watch this battle for second. Is it going to become a three-way battle now?
Ricky Harding got a little loose on that outside. He's still holding there, but Justin Fuller might be able to get it as they are starting to enter turn 2. Ricky Harding drives in very hard, tries to hold the outside.
Meanwhile, James Kahula is loving this because as these guys battle, he is able to pull away. Did Ricky get a piece of a wall there?
Yeah, a little bit of the wall and a little bit of Fuller, I think, as well. Fuller manages to hold onto it. And they're still side by side as they're heading into turns 3 and 4. Ricky Harding not giving up.
Oh, but he almost lost it right there, and now that might cost him, actually, because here comes Bryce Whitson on the inside for third. Not going to happen there. Oh, wait, he gets a run on the exit, but obviously he doesn't have the ideal racing line. He can't use up all the track on the exit because Ricky Harding is there, and that means Ricky is able to temporarily retain third position.
Stephen Petit in 18th place. He spun out of 2 and hit the inside wall. No caution yet.
No, but probably because he's off the course. He's been involved in a couple of incidents tonight, but still running down the lead lap. And I apologise, my trade in paints is not working, so if I've called him the orange truck tonight, that's why. Meanwhile, the battle for third rages on. Ricky Harding still holding off Bryce Whitson, but as they battle side by side, Dan Murray has been able to run them down. Ricky Harding won't be too happy about that because he says the one goal they all have this year is to try and beat Dan Murray because he is running away in the points right now. But that number 15 truck, if he loses this position to Bryce, if he doesn't get taken out by Bryce, who got really loose in turns 1 and 2 there, Dan Murray may very well take 4th place from Ricky Harding within the next couple of laps.
Yeah, as I said before the restart, Dan Murray and Justin Fuller are the only 2 guys in this race who actually have a win that I know of, at least. But a lot of these guys, including Ricky Harding, James Krahula, and Bryce, well, not really Bryce Whitson, but all these guys have gone a good amount of top fives, just haven't gone that win. But Krahula looking really good. He's made about a second lead ahead of Fuller, but Fuller's starting to close in a little bit.
It was a bit slower that time around, 2/10 to be exact. We'll wait and see if that was just a bad lap for him. That's one thing about oval courses, you've only got 2 turns to get it right, so it only takes one mistake to throw your lap time off 5/10 of a second. The great news is the lap is only 30 seconds long, so you've got less than a minute, and there's a caution flag back out.
Jason Swan is stopped on the track. Yeah, he spun out of 2, had a little bit of contact with Ty Hester, actually, who's trying to make a comeback, and spun onto the infield on the backstretch, or I don't even know that that's called it, onto the grass on the backstretch, that is.
Here we go, we're going to get a replay of it. There's Ty Hester in the Jimmy John's truck on the inside there. Jason Swan trying to race him hard on the outside, trying to get that run on the exit. Ty Hester slid up a little bit. Jason Swan, he did have room on the outside he could have used up, but at the same time he probably thought he was entitled to that line. The good news is they're both still on the lead lap. The trucks don't look too badly damaged, and they've still got about half a race to sort out any differences.
Quite a few drivers are heading into the pits, but some decide to stay out. The same driver to actually decide to stay out in the first caution, Bryce Whitson and James Krahula, are going to be leading the restart, whereas even Jeffrey Gilliam as well. Whereas Justin Fuller, Dan Murray, Ricky Harden, all those guys are heading into the pits.
Yeah, I think this is how Jeffrey Gilliam got up front last time around, as it looks like Todd Garron is also still out there on the track, as he used a bit of strategy. Now, Justin Fuller led them into the pits, so I'm going to assume we're going to see a lot of 2-tyre stops here. Justin Fuller is not one of them, though, so he most likely won't win the race off of pit road. It looks like Dan Murray is going to take 2 and come out, and he will restart in 5th place.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. The same exact 4 that didn't pit in the first caution, didn't pit in this one as well. So maybe they think that they can drive those tires a little bit more conservatively. James Krahula has actually proven to be able to keep up that pace for a really long time on those old tires.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We will be back here for the restart.
And lubrication was keeping the metal apart. We accomplished big things with so little effort. Just changed the rear end lube to AMSOIL. Totally did it.
Hello and welcome back to Gateway Motorsports Park, where we are currently working yet another caution. It looks like the lights will come off on the pace car this time around. James Krahula currently leads the race. He is your Rookie of the Year leader, looking as for his first win of the season, so he will kick off our ASRS AMSOIL Top 10 rundown. Bryce Whitson in second, last season's champion, still looking for his first win of this year. Todd Garron has definitely been a surprise of the night, been running up and about the top 5 all night. He currently runs in 3rd. Jeffrey Gilliam, a driver who usually pulls off good strategy, is running 4th. Points leader Dan Murray was the first up of pit road under this caution because he only took 2 tyres. He is in 5th place. Justin Fuller in 6th place. So on row 3 are your 2 winners so far this season. Ricky Harden, looking for his first win of the year, currently sitting 2nd in points, is 7th on the restart. Lined up alongside him is Ty Hester, who almost would've, should've, could've won last week at Rockingham Speedway. Jesse Fowler and Tanner Sharp round out the top 5. They've been hanging there in the top 10 pretty solidly tonight. Jesse Fowler in the Petco number 98 truck. Tanner Sharp, who I'm surprised I don't see him in the top 15 in points, because I believe he's been in most races and usually runs up front there. He just can't seem to close the deal at the end of a race, certain.
Yeah, and you mentioned Ty Hester, second race in a row that he's not had the best luck. He looked really fast on pole for qualifying. Hopefully he can get back up there. He's in 8th at the moment, as you said, trying to make a good comeback. We're almost going green.
Yep, we're right about to go green right now. There goes the Ford Mustang pace car into the pits. James Krahula has control of the field as we come out of turn 4, gets on the gas pedal early and already has about 2 or 3 car lengths over the rest of the field as they come across the start-finish line. Bryce Whitson has the tractor himself there in second place. Oh no, he doesn't anymore, because here comes Jeffrey Gilliam powering it on the high side. But now he's going to get up into the grey stuff. Can he hold on to it? I'm going to be surprised if he can. He can. Jeffrey Gilliam is challenging for second.
Meanwhile, Justin Fuller actually got around Todd Guerin for that fourth place. Yeah, that is. And he's now trying to go on the outside of Bryce as... while Bryce is still side by side with Jeffrey Gilliam. Looks like Fuller's going to try to go back to the inside. Taps Bryce a little bit in the rear there. He's looking really fast on those 4 fresh tires.
I am really surprised at Jeffrey Gilliam tonight right now. Hopefully he's not burning off his tyres right now, but even if he is, it seems short runs. This track does have a bit... Oh, and around goes Dan Murray. Points lead, and Ricky Hardin's in it too.
Oh!
I think they may have got away with it. Ricky Hardin definitely did. I don't know about Dan Murray.
And Dan Murray got the slightest bit loose. Ricky Hardin tried to check up, but actually got booted in the rear by the 26 car of Tanner Sharp, who actually had nowhere to go. Just got a huge checkup. Both of those guys, Hardin and Murray, both go around.
That could have been a lot worse than what it was.
For sure. I actually think Hardin got more damage from that than Murray did.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were able to scrub off a lot of speed before they hit that wall. Tanner Sharp, I mean, you can't blame him for that incident, because the incident kind of occurred about 2 or 3 trucks ahead of him. He'll be right on board Tanner here. And until right about here, he doesn't even realise there's an incident going on, so he can't be on the brakes unless his spotter is telling him, hey, there's a wreck going on in front of you 2 trucks up, and I don't know if he uses an iRacing spotter or a real-life spotter, but even a real-life spotter, it would have been a tough ask for them to have called the wreck out that quickly, Ayrton.
Yeah, and Tanner Sharp actually leads a good-sized group into the pits. It's mostly mid-pack. The top 7 or so actually stay out to lead the race.
Well, let's talk about the driver who's last of the trucks that stayed out, and that was Jamie Moore, who actually just broke into the top 10 when that accident occurred. We haven't really mentioned him a whole lot tonight as we watch a race off of pit road right there. Is that Christopher Ginn, I think it was, leading them off pit road? He must have taken 2 tyres, yeah. Christopher Ginn will restart 8th. So, Jamie Moore in the number 10 Nationwide truck, I believe he got in the wall coming out of turn 2 early in this race. That forced a 3-wide situation into turn 3, which ultimately led to Mark Allen blowing his engine. But he's having a solid race up there in the top 10 in points, in the top 10 right now. Unfortunately for Jamie, he's going to be the last of the trucks on all tyres, so he's going to have a lot of hungry drivers right on his rear spoiler on this restart.
Yeah, well, he qualified in 9th, so he definitely has the pace on this track. As you said earlier, he had a little bit of bad luck at the beginning of this race, but actually having a pretty good comeback. Now in 7th place, right behind Ty Hester, pole setter, who's also trying to have a comeback as well. Quite a few drivers actually coming from the back, either from the start of the race or after an incident early on. But meanwhile, James Krahula still having a great race. He's led most of the laps so far tonight.
And once again, Tanner Sharp has retired from the race, which surprises me a little bit, Ayrton, because he really didn't get a heck of a lot of damage in that last wreck. But once again, Tanner Sharp having a solid run, just won't be able to close the deal.
Yeah, a little bit of a shame. He was running pretty well in the top 10, as you said, but I guess he was involved in a few incidents so far tonight, so maybe he got too much damage or something.
He could also have been pushing the incident cap limit. There is an 18x incident cap in this race. Now, what that means for those of you who aren't too familiar with iRacing, if you run off course, i.e. into that green stuff on the infield, you get 1x. If you have a light contact, if you go for a spin, you get 2x, and if you have hard contact with another truck or the wall, you get a 4x. Those tally up, and eventually, if you reach 18, which ideally you shouldn't, you get booted from the race. So that could have very easily happened to Tanner Sharp, because I know he got involved in a couple of incidents today. Some of them his fault, some of them not. Well, I don't think it was in 18 though, so I think there might be a bigger story behind that. Anyway, we'll find out later on. The pace car lights have gone off. They will restart at the completion of lap 50. There will be 30 laps left to go.
Yeah, I believe there were 1 or 2 drivers who actually reached that 18 instant cap last race at Rockingham. I can't quite think of the names, but they ended up being disqualified before the end of the race, which is a real shame.
Jim Foose and Jeffrey Belt have came into the pits to get some last-minute repairs. What is going on here with Justin Fuller and Bryce Whitson? They keep running side by side with Jeffrey Gilliam. It was almost as if they couldn't quite find their place in line there. They finally worked it out though. Krahula is going to have control of the field on the restart. Jeffrey Gilliam is going to restart second, and that is a really impressive race from him so far. Justin Fuller, though, will be restarting right behind Krahula, and if he gets a good restart, we could begin to see a good battle between those two. Let's find out here, because the pace car is off. Krahula is on the gas pedal, gets a great restart, but here comes Phil on the outside of Jeffrey Gilliam. He's got a great restart too, and there he's going to be clear for second into the first corner.
Oh, great start from him. Also behind them, Ty Hester side by side with Todd Guerin at this point in time. Ty Hester now on the outside, got a great run into turn 2, but couldn't quite get the exit. But in front of them, Bryce Whitson going on the inside of Gilliam. He's going to go side by side into 3, and Gilliam actually looking a little bit slow going into that corner, manages to hold on to it, but Bryce Whitson gets the better run out of the corner.
Gilliam gets very close to the back of Bryce there. I can only imagine Gilliam burnt his tyres off a bit in that last round, because he was racing hard. And there's a spin in the back. That is Jamie Moore. He gets hit by Jesse Fowler, and they're everywhere. The track is blocked.
Oh, huge wreck. Multiple cars involved.
Alex Bates has also gone around.
And Jamie Moore just had a solo man spin there. Actually, I think he locked his brakes. He had a huge check up ahead of him and was caught off guard and spun right in front of a huge back.
Yeah, and Alex Bates is a red truck you will see involved, and here Jamie Moore collects Jesse Fowler in the 98. Oh, sorry, Alex Bates is in the dark blue truck there. Well, I mean, quite a few trucks got damaged and incident points from that, but I don't see any retirements, which, considering the track was completely blocked there for a couple of seconds, can only be a good thing.
Yeah, Jason Swan had a blown engine during that. Actually, the smoke kind of... Oh, no, not me. He just turned his engine off. But yeah, his car's smoking, or his truck rather, is smoking. Trying to get it back around pit lane at this point. Wasn't he... Someone else blew their engine earlier, and I'm wondering if it might have been him. I'm not quite sure.
No, that was Mark Allen, who actually got a little piece of that incident right there, who blew his engine earlier. He has gotten back out into the race, but he's multiple laps down. Let's ride on board Dan Murray, because he had a good view of all of this, coming down into turns 1 and 2 right here. The incident will start before we ever see it. There it is, you see the tyre smoke. Oh, and he probably has heavy front end damage after that.
Yeah, in fact, he's actually in pit lane right now, along with multiple drivers in the mid-pack.
Yeah, the front end of his Tundra is bent in a bit.
Started in second, not having the best race so far.
Only 10 trucks staying out under this caution, and a couple of them are names we haven't mentioned at all now in the top 10. Austin Missler and Brandon Jones.
Yeah, well, Brandon Jones was the... Oh no, that was Christopher Chin, who was first off pit lane before, who's also had a great run so far into the top 10.
Yeah, Christopher Jim was doing a good job holding on to his top 10 position right there. He's not always a driver, I believe, who's running up there in the top 5 or top 10, but he's a driver who closes out the deal pretty good. We actually got a Facebook video of him spinning around on his lid in practice, upside down, doing practice for Rockingham last week, and he went on to get a 5th place finish, I believe. In fact, he is on the bubble right now of entering the chase. He currently sits 11th in the points, and granted, he was part of that checkup coming out of turn 4 that ultimately led to our latest caution, but at the same time, he had a pretty good pace going. He's doing well in the points. He's a driver who doesn't get mentioned a whole lot, but he should, because he could definitely end up being one of our 10 chasers at the end of this year.
Yeah, he's only 4 points behind Michael Krobach, who's having a really unfortunate race so far. He actually got a little bit of that instant, that previous wreck. He's now in 19th place after heading into... Actually, he bumped up to 18th place after going through pit lane, but I feel like he's been involved in so many incidents tonight.
Yeah, Krobach's still on the lead lap in 17th. The first truck we have not on the lead lap is in 22nd. That's Jamie Moore, 2 laps down. And with the rate the cautions are going to fall at the end of this race, I have a feeling he'll be able to get those back. Alex Bates also involved in the latest caution. He is now 23rd, 2 laps down. Behind them is Tanner Sharp, who's out of a race. Nick Cohan out of a race. Jared Haggerty is out of a race. Mark Allen is logging laps. He's actually about to pick off 2 spots the next time by, so he will move up from 27th to 25th ahead of Tanner Sharp and Nick Cohan. Kevin Berry, Jeffrey Belt and Carson Orbe are also all DNFs today.
And in fact, Jamie Moore actually leaves the session. He's going to be retired, so that leaves Mark Allen and Alex Bates, the last 2 trucks driving.
Anyhow, pace car lights are off, and we finally got them for the first time tonight. Ayrton, James Krahula and Justin Fuller gonna be restarting at the front of the field on the front row. James Krahula has done an excellent job at getting great restarts every single time tonight, and I have a feeling he's going to continue to do just that. He's got the pace over Justin Fuller from what we've seen throughout tonight, but if there is anyone in this field who can challenge James Krahula, I have a feeling it is that number 41 truck driver right there.
Yeah, the driver who won his first race in his first event, actually, Justin Fuller. Looking pretty fast. He managed to come all the way from the back of the field. Now racing side by side, as you said, with James Krahula. Actually, this is going to be the first time they're side by side for this race.
And the pace car is off. James Krahula has been a bit random on when he chooses to go on the restarts. He goes fairly early this time, catches Fuller a little bit off of guard, but Fuller doesn't get a horrible restart. In fact, he is far in front of a battle for third. That's what's raging on right now. Jeffrey Gilliam on the high side, Bryce Whitson on the inside.
So far, Jeffrey Gilliam has looked really strong on that outside line, managing to hold on to Bryce Whitson so far.
Here comes
in
Fuller.
fact, Justin Fuller already making a move on the inside of James Krahula. He's got the inside going to turn 3, got a great dive into the corner. Krahula trying to defend that outside. Well, they're still side by side, but looks like Fuller's going to get the better exit. Is he going to clear him before turn 1? They're still side by side across the front stretch. Justin Fuller going to lead a lap, but they're still side by side as they're entering turn 1.
This could get very dangerous because the air off of Krahula's truck can make Fuller loose, and that can make him slide up into him. That almost happens there, and Fuller has to back out of it. And that, if it was any closer to the end than what it is, 22 laps to go, that could have been the race right there. But we still have plenty of laps to go. I have a feeling we're not done with cautions yet. Fuller will get another chance late in the race.
And our pole sitter, Ty Hester, already back up to 4th place. A great recovery drive from him after spinning solo halfway through the race and managed to get around Todd Guerin that previous lap. Looking on the rear of Bryce Whitson, who is actually looking on the rear of Justin Fuller at the moment, managing to catch up to these top 2.
Jeffrey Gilliam out in no man's land there in turns 2. His tyres may have finally gone. He is being challenged by Christopher Ginn right now, and they are working their way up behind Ricky Hardin. Gilliam just had a bad turn and it cost him several spots. Meanwhile, there were several trucks almost knocking the wall down off of turn 4. You can't say these drivers aren't pushing it. This
I just saw that as well.
This battle continues between Ginn and into Ginn goes Gilliam. And he's going to save it. No, he gets knocked by Marks. They all save it.
No caution. Stephen Marks almost spun it around there after having contact with Jin, but managed to get back on track. They're actually all they're very slow on the track, getting passed by a few drivers. That's Jason Kristen and Dan Murray, actually.
Yeah, as we watch the replay, there's one truck who just disappeared, who was running there in about 10th spot. Watch as they come out of turn 2 here. Watch the back of your screen. One of the trucks disappears. I think he may have lost the connection. Not sure who it was. Right there, that white truck. Was it Stephen Petit? He's currently showing last on the lead lap right now, I'm not sure. Or was it Michael Krobach? That wouldn't surprise me. Michael Krobach.
I think it was Stephen Petit, because he's not on track on him anymore.
Yeah, Michael Krobach is out as well. Well, it was one of them. Oh, and there's almost more contact here between Bryce Whitson, Todd Gavin, and Ty Hester.
Yeah, Todd Guerin actually just got by Bryce Whitson and trying to fight with Ty Hester. Bryce Whitson had a little bit of a mistake, got passed by both these guys, and still battling very close together.
Coming around to complete lap 62.
Yeah, the top two drivers have managed to get about a 1.5 gap to Hester in third so far, who's actually getting passed by Todd Guerin, made a move into one. He's actually going to have contact with Bryce Whitson. They're side-by-side blocking the track in 1 and 2. They're not going to get hit by any other drivers but Ty Hester blocking the track in 2.
Boy, the truck's almost hitting Ty Hester as he gets back around in turns 1 and 2. I mean, Ty's not going to be too happy about that, but that could have been a lot worse than what it was. And you watch just two drivers going for it late on in the race, and neither of them were wanting to yield. And, oh, actually, no, I'm sorry, Ty Hester was yielding to a position and came down, probably didn't expect Bryce Whitson to be there that quickly.
Yeah, Bryce Whitson making an ambitious move into turn 1. And you're right, I think Ty just didn't expect that.
Alright. As we finish up watching the replay right here, there are 16 laps left to go. Who's going to pit? James Kahula's coming in. Justin Fuller's coming in. Doug Gavin is staying out.
Oh, that's a bold move, because he didn't pit either in the first group.
Nor did Jeffrey Gilliam. Jeffrey Gilliam is staying out. This could be a very interesting end to this race, especially if we have some caution flags, because there are no green-white checkers in iRacing. If there is a caution with 4 or 5 laps left to go, that could end it. We could be looking at less than a 10-lap sprint right here, and give us 1, 2 or 3 cautions, then might not be a whole lot of change in the order. We could have a surprise winner tonight.
Ty Hester also staying out after that spin.
I can't blame him too much.
Fuller took only 2 tires, where Krahula actually is taking all 4. So Fuller makes it out. Ricky Harden actually managed to get out right behind him as well, ahead of the pack.
Yep, so that will put Krahula in 6th place as the first driver on 4 tires. If it goes green to an end, it goes green to the end. I like where Krahula is sitting, but I can't see that happening, Hurton.
Yeah, for sure. And also we have to keep in mind those 3 guys who didn't pit: Todd Guerin, Jeffrey Gilliam, and Ty Hester, who actually pitted earlier in one of the more recent cautions as well. So he actually has fresher tires than Gilliam and Guerin.
Alright, well the field is coming around to complete lap 65 of 80, so there will be 15 to go as they cross the line. I have a feeling the pace car lights are going to stay on for one more lap. And across the line goes the pace car, and they stay on. We are going to take our final commercial break of the broadcast, of the race rather, and we will be back to take you to the end in just a moment.
Friction is heat. You know, you take an engine where the lifter goes up and down, pushes the valve up and down, it really gets hot right there. That's where oil breaks down and where we have failures. AMSOIL, on the other hand, it's a true synthetic lubricant. It's just idling right there. It doesn't even know it's being used. In other words, 300 degrees is ho hum to AMSOIL.
Todd Gavin, Jeffrey Gilliam, Justin Fuller, Ty Hester and James Kahula are your top 5 as we get ready for the restart. Perhaps not the final restart tonight. Ayrton, who are you liking right now?
I don't know. All these guys look really good. I think Fuller or Hester are in a good slot right now. Actually, Fuller on the outside since he's actually behind the leader. Guerin deciding to take the outside line in that first place position, whereas Jeffrey Gilliam is going to be slotted on the inside. He's in a good position to defend the spot, but I'm wondering if he might be able to challenge Guerin.
Of course, the downside to being Gavin and Gilliam right now is that on those old tyres, we haven't seen them have control of the field at all tonight, or at least we haven't seen Gavin have control of the field. Could he get wheel spin? Could that check up the field going down the stretch? We will find out in about 10 seconds from now. Lap 67 there coming around to complete. 13 laps to go, about 8 laps to the cut-off caution period. Todd Gavin gets on the gas early and he pulls out a good lead over Jeffrey Gilliam. That's exactly what he needs to do. Ty Hester thinking about going 3 wide into first 10 on the low side. Justin Fuller, though, is really the one to watch. He has gotten a great restart on the high side. He has been one of the fastest trucks tonight.
He already clears Jeffrey Gilliam through turn 2 and already has a run for that first place. He's going to shoot to the inside of Todd Guerin, and yeah, they're side by side going to 3 and 4. Justin Fuller's already going to clear him to the entry. Justin Fuller leads the race for the first time tonight if Guerin doesn't get a run, but yeah, it looks like Fuller's going to get it.
Yeah, as Gavin pushes on the exit there, I have a feeling that may have just very well been our final lead change of the night. However, there's still a great battle raging on for third. Ricky Harding on the high side, Jeffrey Gilliam falling back.
We got loose, 3 wide.
Contact between Kahula and Gilliam. They're 3 wide with Bryce Whitson. They're 4 wide into the wall. Brandon Jones
managed to save it.
They're still 3 wide. Contact Ty Hester on the apron. Jeffrey Gilliam gets turned around. He saves it. Dan Murray loses about 4 spots out there. Jeffrey Gilliam still doesn't have full control. And he goes back. Here comes Brandon Jones on the inside of him now. So they both lost about 5-10 spots that time around.
And after all that chaos, James Kahula manages to get up to 3rd place. Ty Hester behind him in 4th. But that gap to the leaders, to Todd Guerin in 2nd as well, has lengthened to about 2 seconds now.
Well, it makes a great truck race, Tim, but I have a feeling we need a couple of drifting tournaments here, because we have seen so many trucks get sideways and somehow save it tonight.
And I don't think I've ever seen this much 3-wide action on a 1.25 mile long track either. This is insane. These guys are going 3 wide all over the place.
So after all that, Justin Fuller continues to lead as they come around with 9 laps left to go. Todd Gavin's strategy call has paid off lovely. He is currently in 2nd. James Kahula is in 3rd. He probably would want 2 more spots after his performance tonight. Ty Hester's rallied back up to 4th. Bryce Whitson in 5th. His truck's got dents all over it, but it's running in the top 5, and it might be running in the top 4 soon. Hester gets loose.
Got a good run out of that corner. They're going to be going side by side into one. Ty Hester trying to defend on that outside line. He takes a really late entry into the corner. It looks like Bryce Whitson's going to be able to get it unless Hester can get a crossover. He tries for it. Actually got a very good run out of that corner. He might have to run into 3.
About 2 cautions ago, these two were the two that balled it out, with Bryce Whitson making an ambitious move down the inside of Ty Hester in turns 1 and 2. Now it's Ty Hester. Will he return the favour going into turns 1 and 2 this time around? It doesn't look like he's going to be within striking range.
Meanwhile, the gap between Krahula and Garin has closed massively. Krahula actually was looking to the outside a little bit to try to get that move. Managed to get the crossover. A better run out of 2. He's going to get the inside head into 3.
Yep. Mind you, don't take anything away from Todd Garin. This has been an awesome race by him tonight, and he is willing to fight on that high side. He does not want to give up that position to James Krahula, but I have a feeling it's all over now.
Yeah, Krahula has 4 fresh tires. He's definitely better in pace to get around these corners since this track is really tire dependent. But there's 2.5, yeah, just under 2.5 seconds between Fuller and Krahula, which is huge on an oval course, so this is going to be a difficult task.
Ty Hester almost lost it out of turn 2 right there, and he is losing spots. Here comes Alan Young. We haven't mentioned him at all. He's up into 6th now. Ricky Hardin into 5th. Alan Young almost thought about challenging him. What colour would you call that? Turquoise? Oh, Ricky Hardin into the wall.
Yeah, I'll say it's turquoise. Dan Murray looking to the inside of Ty Hester. Ty Hester, I guess the no pit call wasn't the best for him because he's dropping like a rock through this pack. All the way down to 8th now.
No tyres works very well if you have clean air, which is what Todd Garin has had. However, and there's caution, that's probably going to end it.
Oh, Mark Allen and Jesse Fowler spun around in 1 and 2.
And Mark Allen's engine has blown up again. And having a bit of technical difficulties there. He seems to have his connection going in and out. Oh, Jesse Fowler just lost it on his own. Mark Allen came and ploughed into him. Jesse Fowler is crabbing badly, but he might be able to get around to the finish line.
Oh yeah, that is crapping pretty badly.
And there is a rule in the American Sim Racing Series that because of the chaos and they don't want to give away unfair wins, they will never have a one-lap shootout in their series. That is probably what we would have if that rule isn't in effect. It looks like this race is going to finish under caution, and although the fans might not entirely like the fact that we won't see a bit of action on the final lap, I have a feeling you've got to respect that rule, Erting, because you wouldn't want Justin Fuller, who thoroughly has kind of in a way deserved this win, even though James Krahula has dominated most of the race. You wouldn't want him to lose the race just because someone bumps him out the way in turn 1 on the restart.
Yeah, and even the guys behind him, Krahula could have, like, he's slot in 2nd place if there's another lap. He might have been passed by Todd Garin or even Bryce Whitson behind him. So I think, yeah, this rule has a good purpose. But Justin Fuller, 4 races ran in this series and 2 wins so far. Great start for him.
Absolutely, especially considering I think he's had to start at the back in 3 of those 4 races.
yeah, that too.
The reason Justin Fuller had to restart at the back for this race was because he passed another truck in the pits last race at Rockingham. When you enter pit road, you're supposed to remain single file, or at least you're not supposed to pass a truck in front of you for safety concerns. That's a rule in real life that they move over to iRacing. I don't think a pit crew member has ever gotten hurt on iRacing, but, you know, we try to make it as realistic as possible. 1.25 miles a lap, so that will be 3.75 miles in total. That's the amount of mileage Justin Fuller still has to cover, providing his internet connection doesn't go out, he doesn't blow a motor, no one spins him under caution. This race is Fuller's.
Yeah, and Fuller also trying to look to get into that chase before the end of the season, which It's a really difficult task for him, considering that he's only going to be able to have run half the races that all the other drivers in the top 10 have run so far in this season. But, I mean, he's off to a great start so far.
Yeah, one driver, more so than others, who is happy that this race isn't going to restart is Jesse Fowler, because he is crabbing. He's going to pull off a good, solid top 20. He currently sits 7th in the points. That should keep him up there in the top 10 in points, but he's probably going to want a better race next week at Iowa.
I think that's actually drifting around the track, all the way around.
We've seen a lot of that tonight.
Yeah.
Let's get on board. Let's get on board.
Job.
See if we can hear the tyres squealing.
Or the wheel turned completely to the right just to stay straight.
Yeah, he's doing that through the turn. He's turning to the right to make it go left, it looks like. Look at his hand on top of a wheel there. See, that's what it's meant to look like. On Michael Koenig's on board, let's see if we can get back on his in-car camera. You see Jesse Fowler right there, crabbing on the outside of him. Yeah, see where Jesse Fowler's hand is right now, there on the top of a wheel. Now let's go to another on board and see how the hands are supposed to be to the left and right hand side of the wheels. Even there you see them turned a little bit to the left to get through the turn, obviously. That's not where Fowler's hands are.
Now Fowler's just one of those guys that drives with one hand on the front.
I don't blame him under this caution. It's a sad irony that one of the most exciting races we have seen all year is going to finish under the caution flag. But that's what you get in big time auto racing.
Oh, we would be spoiled if it was green all the way.
Yeah, and I have a feeling the caution's definitely threw strategy into the end there. We expected that last restart would be an exciting one, and it was. They went 3 wide about 3 or 4 different times on the first 2 laps. It's a shame this race is going to end under yellow, but I think the fans got their money's worth tonight.
I think the biggest winner of all those caution strategies was Todd Guerin. Managed to rack up 3rd place, started at 11th. We hadn't seen him in the top 5 rather the whole season so far, at least in the races that we've covered. So Todd Guerin, yeah, great strategy call for him.
Usually our policy at GSRC is to try and interview the top 3 drivers if their PR representatives will let us talk to them. So it will be interesting talking to Todd Guerin and also looking up a couple of statistics on our own and seeing how many races he has been in this year and if this is his best finish with the ASRS. White flag is in the air. Mentioning Guerin again, he has a number 54 truck, which has become famous in NASCAR, Xfinity and Truck Series racing from Kyle Busch Motorsports, and has seen a lot of success there. A very appropriate number to be on the side of Todd Guerin's truck tonight, but he is not going to be the winner tonight. Instead, it is going to be the number 41 of Justin Fuller, who comes out of turn 4 right now. And he will take a well-deserved checkered flag. As Ayrton mentioned, this is his 2nd in his 4 races with the series. If he can make a trace, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with when it comes time for the championship. Well, the field has crossed the finish line. We will be back with full race results and driver interviews. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back to Gateway Motorsports Park, where we just saw one of the better races you're probably going to see all year. Very exciting race at the end there with the strategy. It's a shame it finished under the yellow flag, but you can't deny with who won the race, and that was Justin Fuller. The only one who could probably argue about that is James Kahulu, finished right behind him in second. Todd Garren was in third place, and then Bryce Whitson and Ricky Harding rounded out the top 5. Alan Young was in 6th, followed by Dan Murray, Ty Hester, Stephen Marks and Brandon Jones rounding out the top 10. After that we have Jason Christen and Jeffrey Gilliam, who fell to 12th at the end there. Austin Whistler was 13th, followed by Christopher Ginn and Michael Koenig rounding out the top 15. Jim Foose finished in 16th place, followed by Jesse Fowler, the last truck on the lead lap. All the other trucks were pretty much out of contention at the end. They were Tim Knott in 18th and Jason Swan in 19th. Alex Bates in 20th, Michael Krobach in 21st, Stephen Petit in 22nd, Jamie Moore in 23rd, Mark Allen in 24th and Tanner Sharp in 25th, Jeffrey Belt, Nick Cohan, Jared Hagley, Kevin Berry and Carson Orbe rounding out the 30 racers of tonight's race. And we're going to speak to the top 3 of them, starting with Todd Garren, who finished in 3rd place. Ayrton has called up with him.
Thanks, Sam. Todd, are you here?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, first off, congratulations. That was a great race. Managed to come out 3rd after an interesting strategy call. Can you tell us a little bit about that call?
Yeah, I wasn't falling off that much. I didn't have a good call on the short runs anyway, so I've seen it work in the past, so I tried to stay out, hoping that there would be some cautions there at the end, but it just didn't work out that way.
Well, 3rd place is definitely a good position. Is that your best result? I haven't seen you for earlier in the season, but that looked like a good run for you.
Yeah, I'd run part-time in the trucks, but I've gotten a 2nd place previously, but it's still a good run.
And you're going to be here at Iowa next week?
Oh yeah, Iowa's one of my favorite tracks, so I'm definitely going to try to make that show.
Well, definitely a good race run. You managed to hold off some pretty fast drivers behind you, and definitely a good strategy call. Thanks for talking to us.
Appreciate it.
Back to you, Sam.
That was Todd Garren, our 3rd place finisher tonight, and finishing 1 spot above him in 2nd place was James Kahula. James currently leading the Rookie of the Year standings, looking for his first win of the season, and James, you almost had it tonight, it just didn't quite work out for you.
Samuel is Kansas all over again, got snookered on a strategy, but no, this is a fun little track, and we were in control in the whole race. Then pit strategy got us there at the end. It looked like it was a fun race, and I hope y'all enjoyed that. It was exciting from the cockpit, but a good win to Justin. I mean, he's always races clean, races good. Just got snookered on strategy.
Well, next week we go to Iowa Speedway, unless I'm mistaken, which could also end up being a bit of a strategy track as well. Do you think that is a place where you can finally get that elusive first victory?
Oh, I better not say anything on when we're going to get that first victory. It's gonna, when it happens, it happens. I think there's a good chance that we can get one this year. I'm not going to be going around saying when it's going to happen, but hopefully soon. Hopefully soon here. Iowa's is a fun little track.
Well, we're happy to hear you in good spirits. I guess you've had those caution laps to accept the fact that you weren't going to win this race, but you certainly seem to be the fastest track out there. Shame it didn't quite work out for you, Kahula. We wish you the best of luck next week.
Thanks, Samuel. Thanks, Richardson Bike Mart. We got Trek on board this week as well. And as always, we got Northern Tool. We have the Petco Foundation and everyone else involved over there at Unacceptable Racing. It was a pretty fun night. It was a great track. And thanks to you guys for everything y'all do for us. Thanks, AMSOIL.
Well, it was a very enjoyable race, so thank you for putting on a great show. We'll see you next week. So, that was 2nd place finisher James Kahula, and down in victory lane, Ayrton Ellis was called up with race winner Justin Fuller.
Thanks, Dan. Not Dan. Sam. Justin, you here?
Yeah, we got you.
Well, first off, congratulations. 4 races won and already your 2nd win. How'd you feel?
Pretty good. It's actually my 5th race. Kansas was my 1st, and it was pretty bad. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that race. We had to start in the back again, Hopefully we didn't do anything wrong in this race, so we can start in our qualifying position at Iowa. But race was good, truck was good. It took me all race to get to the back of James, and couldn't really pass him. It's just so hard to pass at this track.
And, well, since this is your third race in a row, actually, that you've gotten EOL penalty, so you have quite a bit of experience being a fast driver coming from the back of the pack. How do you normally approach that? Do you try to get to the front as fast as possible, or do you try to take your time?
At the beginning of the race, really just take your time, bide your time. The guys, I don't really want to throw anybody under the bus and just say, everybody that's in the back is slow. But they're off the pace. They're clean. They give me plenty of room. They know I'm coming. There's some of them that they race me, and that's fine too. I like to be raced. I love to race. But you just bide your time, take your time. Those guys, they'll fall off. And I think I worked my way up into about 12th position on that initial run. And we just kept working our way forward slowly.
Well, it was definitely a good run, even though it ended on caution. But you had a really good fight with Krahula. Managed to get that pass done quickly after that caution as well. So great race from you, Justin. And next week we're heading to Iowa. Do you like that track?
Iowa is probably going to be my worst track on the rest of these races up to the chase. Pretty terrible at Iowa, actually. If I could walk out of there with top 5, I'll be happy. But just looked at the point standings. We're only 60 points out of 10th place. We got only 5 races out of the 10. We're only halfway. Only got half the races out of everybody else. 5 races to go, trying to make the chase here. Got 60 points to make up. We'll see what we can do.
Well, we wish you luck. Thanks for talking to us, Justin. Congrats once again.
Yes, thank you.
Back to you, Sam.
That was Justin Fuller, our race winner right there. And he says he might not be best at all at Iowa, but if he's anything like what he's been putting on the past few weeks, he could certainly be a force to be reckoned with. And once again, that was Alan Ellis who was interviewing right in. Oh, Ayrton Ellis. My apologies. All right, well, we would like to thank a few people before we head out and see you next week at Iowa. We would like to thank Jim Foose and the organisers of this league for making this race happen. We would also like to thank AMSOIL for sponsoring this race and helping us put on a great show. We would also like to thank the makers of the various software and hardware that help make this stream possible: iRacing.com, XSplit, Audio Technica, and Ava Media. Thanks to the team today, Alan Ellis and Joe Peak. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. A big thanks to Dougie Beard for creating the camera sets that you saw during the stream, and a special thank you to Eric Ekholm, who provides us with much of our music. You can find it not only here on GSRC, but in TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes, and Spotify. If you like the music, tell Eric where you heard it at ericekholm.com. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.